Hello, I'm Robert Scoble, and you're watching WorkFast TV, which is about how the internet is changing work. This show is supported through the generous support of SAP. SAP provides software that helps both large and small businesses manage their businesses, lower their costs, and bring more services to their business relationship partner. Thanks to SAP for supporting social media and WorkFast TV. My guest today is Joe Sigrist, who is the Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Video Solutions Division at Polycom. He's here to talk about video conferencing trends and how he sees work changing thanks to the internet. Joe, welcome to WorkFast.
Robert, thank you so much.
I used to work at Winov, and we sold video capture cards and competed with Polycom, actually, so that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because I know that Polycom was doing video conferencing for, I don't know, more than 10 years, because this was 10 years ago.
Yes.
So I want to get your sense of what you're seeing. What are you seeing, and what kinds of systems are being deployed today that's different than they used to be?
So it's really interesting. I mean, what you remember of video conferencing certainly 10 years ago was video communications is a nice little industry. There were cameras and codecs on carts that people wheeled around and put in rooms. ISDN was the connectivity method. People still remember ISDN? I don't know. Yep. The quality was okay, and the application was pretty limited. If you fast forward 10 years, there's been an incredible growth in the way people want to visually communicate. There's a lot of trends in work life, for instance, where people are working at home and kind of disconnected from the way they interact with their peers and coworkers. A lot of these trends make people want to do video much more frequently, and so we have a whole range of solutions, include carts and cameras and codecs, that get wheeled around, but it's much more than that now.
So back to the video. So
the more important, and more interesting part
for you, yeah,
absolutely,
and for me too. It's where the change is coming because of the gas prices and because global warming is putting pressure on companies to keep people from traveling and also keep people from coming in the office, because offices are expensive, and if they can work out of their house, they're a lot less expensive. I mean, Jonathan Schwartz, the CEO of Sun, told me he loves it when people stay home because it saves him money, and he says the employees actually are more loyal because they're able to work their life into their job better than if they're forced to come into an office from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So tell me, what are the choices?
So that's a trend. I think that's a trend. If you look at the way work is changing, and what people need to do to help them through these changes, video is actually a really important enabler to improve the work life of folks, even as the way people work change. So let's use work at home as an example. You're right, more and more people are being not even asked, but being told to work at home. We have one customer in Manhattan who's basically forcing people out of the towers in Manhattan to reduce their real estate costs, right? And so those folks at first are really excited. I don't have to go into the office, and my commute is, from the bedroom to the den. After a while, though, people feel, and we've heard this from some of our customers, kind of disconnected. Right? I mean, they're really tethered in the end of this internet connection. They might do some chat. They might obviously do lots of email. But it really is nice to be able to see your coworkers. Now, you're not physically going to see them going into the office, but with video, you're able to see people and get the value of kind of the visual connection, eye connect, all of that, with still being at home. And so that's one really important, I think, advantage of using video for the work at home phenomenon.
Yeah, in fact, on the show we had a proponent of coworking, and that trend was happening because people were working at home and getting feeling like they were left out of an office scene. They wanted to go into a little bit of an office scene once in a while to have that kind of social connection with people.
So that's one. I mean, that's a big trend. Another big trend is this, outsourcing, kind of the world is flat phenomenon, right? Where you've got workers collaborating on projects, the same project, that are in various locations. And again, the fact that you can all get together on a video conference, see people, see the nuances of their hand signals, et cetera, not that I don't like hand signals, and all that, I mean, that really adds value to the increasing dispersed way people work together.
Right.
And So go ahead.
Now Polycom sells room-based systems. How much are those, and why does a company need a room-based system when every laptop has a webcam in it now? Tell me a little bit about that. And then how does a webcam guy fit into that room-based system?
So the answer to your first question, which is what do we provide, it's really everything, soup to nuts. Yeah. So from a webcam-based desktop system to standalone desktop systems for kind of higher-end folks who might want a dedicated system just on their desk for video, all the way to these room systems and telepresence systems. So the reality is when you go into an environment and want to video enable that environment, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. Yeah. You're going to want, in the same way that people still have phones on their desks, as well as, thankfully, those star-shaped phones in conference rooms. You want to video enable the conference rooms. You also want to have video capability at the desktop, and then maybe in these super immersive rooms as well. So we see a need to go in and provide all those different solutions, and then more importantly, tie them all together so that if your boss sends a message that says we're going to have, or an invite, calendar invite saying we're going to have a conference or a meeting tomorrow at 5, people can get in via video if they want, even if they're at home with a webcam, in a conference room, whatever, and they can all meet and join, and that can all be managed by the IT organization in a very seamless way. That's really the power of the end-to-end solution of all those different capabilities. Very cool.
Where do we go next?
So let me, one more thing if I could.
Yeah.
Right? I've been talking about the corporate environment, which is good, and a big part of what we sell is to organizations that are Fortune 500s. There's some really great applications for video that are kind of not in the corporate environment, if you're interested, like telemedicine.
Yeah.
So
you could have a surgeon who's showing off a technique, or working with a surgeon maybe in another country who's not as advanced as somebody like at Stanford on a technique.
Remote consultation is a great application, right? So you've got somebody who's in a smaller hospital somewhere that doesn't have the specialist. The specialist is 1,000 miles away, so how do you make sure that diagnosis is assisted by the specialist?
Right.
So you can use video conferencing. Now with HD and the quality of HD, you can zoom right in to the patient. It really is a very compelling application kind of in a non-corporate environment. Education's another one. I mean, remote and distance learning is a very obvious one, right, where you have people who, especially in places like Australia and other places where you can't physically get people together for classrooms all the time.
Well, let's talk about both of those trends, HD and education. I've been to Cisco, and I've been in their new HD room systems,
yes.
And they're really beautiful, right? They have 3 HD
yes.
Screens, and this room costs $300,000 to build, and it looks like you're sitting right across the desk from somebody who's in New York or in London, right? But those are very expensive, and they don't interoperate with very much, right?
Yes.
In fact, can your stuff interoperate with the Cisco system?
No one's systems can interoperate with Cisco systems.
So you have to have Cisco at both ends, and you have to have $300,000 rooms at both ends to do that.
It's a great deal if you can do it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Bill Gates might be able to afford that.
Yeah. Larry Ellison maybe, from what I hear. So we have systems of that sort as well. In fact, we have systems that are even more immersive. And immersive is a really important word because it makes you believe and feel like you're literally in the same room with people across the table. So we have rooms that are like that with the same, actually better technology, screens, et cetera. And for us, again, the interop with other systems and the ability to have those rooms and those types of systems also connect in the same enterprise, even if somebody happens to be working at home on a laptop, and all that interoperability and connectivity is really important, as opposed to saying you've got to be in this room and you've got to be in this vendor's specific room. That's very limiting for our customers. And so the trend is correct, right, towards a more high quality, full size, everybody's full size kind of telepresence experience, but it's got to be inclusive of all different types of devices and ways that people will actually connect into the conference.
But you're back to education. It's one thing to have education where like I have point to point, okay. It's another thing to have video go out to the web. Can your systems do that? Can your systems hook into like a video, like a CDN, like what we're doing here?
Yes. So streaming. Out? So think of video conferencing or video communications as being kind of two types of connections. One is between systems that have two-way video capability on both sides, so you can have a full interaction.
Yeah.
And you need to have a pair of those or multiple of those connected into a conference. But you'd like to extend that one way if people don't have access to those video systems and just have an internet connection. And so the ability to take a conference where some people are actually fully interactive, but others may be just on the end of an internet connection, you could stream to those, is also a very powerful thing. So we can do not only streaming video, but connect the streaming capability with the conferencing capability. For instance, that's very powerful if you're doing like an all-hands meeting.
Yeah.
And if you have an all-hands meeting, you might have 5 or 6 main sites that have two-way conferencing. You get Q&A back and forth. They're really together in a conference. But
right.
You might have, again, work-at-home folks who are extended just with an internet connection. They don't need two-way, but it would be nice for them to obviously get access to the conference to hear what the CEO has to say in the all-hands meeting, and that can just be streamed out as well. And not only can it be streamed, but we can record it and make it available video on demand later so that people can see that conference if they happen to be, well, late for the meeting or overslept or weren't available to view it. Being able to have all that video access capability is really important to us.
Yeah. So I guess there's a couple other ways to look at this world. I mean, one way is the CTO or the CIO is going to buy your system and going to put it on my desk and I'm going to use it and learn from it from the top down. Another way, most of my viewers are probably working at small or startup businesses.
Right.
And they're probably going, well, okay, maybe I need to talk to Coca-Cola or something that has one of these room-based systems, but I don't have the equipment, I don't have have the software. What do I need to get on my laptop so I can call into a Polycom system? And what do I need to ask on the other side? If I'm now working for Nike or Coca-Cola or doing consulting for one of these big companies, and all of a sudden I have to call in, what do I have to ask and make sure I have on my laptop to be able to do that?
Right. So we've come out very recently with a new desktop application, and I'll show it to you here in a few minutes. And that application allows you to connect and call other folks who have the same application with a laptop and a webcam on the other side. But the real power...
Sort of like Skype.
Like Skype, right? So that's nice. It's not innovative, you can argue. That's the first thing. But the second and more powerful thing is I can be using this application with my webcam, very inexpensive application, and I can call into a room-based system. And it could be either my same company, if my company has room-based systems, or I can actually call into other room systems who are in other organizations, right? Like a vendor calling into Coca-Cola or something like that. Yeah. And so the power of kind of the mix and match of the various device types and the various ways of doing video are really powerful. And as I said, it's got to expand from desktop with a webcam all the way up to the high end and letting that interconnectivity occur.
Well, let's see it, actually.
All right, so let's do that. So, awesome. So this is the application. It's called Polycom CMA Desktop. Yeah. And now I haven't connected yet to the far side. So you see me locally. I've got a webcam here. And you can see that I've got not unlike some collaboration clients, contacts, people that I have invited to be my contacts. And you can also see there's presence information. Yes. So it's green, meaning I could actually make a video call to her, or I could, somebody just came online, Holly just came online. So I'll use Holly as an example, and I can chat with her because I now have blue on the chat sign.
Now, if you're in a corporation like you're working at Microsoft, does that pull the contacts out of their corporate systems?
Yes. So
I would as soon as I get hired, I see Jeff Sandquist or Steve Ballmer or Bill Gates on
exactly. So this I press on this icon. This is the directory associated with this application, and this directory is connected to via LDAP to the Active Directory, corporate directory in the organization. So there's not a redundant directory in this sense. We're actually syncing it up with the corporate directory. And I could enter a name, I could find somebody in here who, there's nobody with Monk, so, but I could find the right person here to connect to. Okay. And then I could just call them discreetly, or I could invite them to be a contact. Okay. So why don't we, talk to Lana. So Lana is a employee of ours who is in Austin. And I might want to start by just... We're
here in San Francisco.
And we're in San Francisco. Yeah. And I might say, just start chatting with her. we could just kind of interact via
just like Skype or any of the tools that we're
any of
used
these
to.
applications. So Lana is there. You know, you don't want to be bored with me typing. You know, how's the weather in Austin, right? Probably hot and muggy as usual. And so I could do this. You know, it's a chat application. Like I said, it's no big deal. The hot. But the important thing is now we can do video.
Now, what kind of system is she on?
Right now, she's on this same system.
Okay.
With a webcam on the other side, and so this is just you know, desktop to desktop. So I think she'll probably dial me, and we'll see how that works.
Okay.
And we'll see the video associated with that. So
now, how's the quality on your system versus something like Skype or some of the other
really
video
great.
conferences?
I mean, one of the differentiations, even in this scenario where it's just desktop to desktop, is that you know, the video quality, as you're going to see here in a minute, as she's calling me, is really good. And there she is.
Yeah.
Hi, Lana. How are you?
Joe. Very well. How are you?
So when you say it's hot in Austin, give me the specifics.
Right now, it's about 12:20 here, and I would say it's roughly 95. Probably get up to 100 today.
Oh, that's great.
It's beautiful, but it's hot.
Say hi to Robert. I think you guys met earlier.
Hello. My hand's over here.
Hello.
So you know, this application is really neat. I mean, you can actually do
Now, from my days working at Winov in the video conferencing business, I remember the old days where it was really hard to sync the video with the audio.
Oh, with the audio.
And
I mean,
your lip sync is very good now. So.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
And so yeah, I mean, I always say Lana looks great. I meant the video looks great. I don't want her to, you know.
Oh, you need to keep talking.
Keep talking.
Oh, okay. So anyway, she is there on a desktop application, and as we discussed, I mean, you could do this on Skype, right?
Yeah.
And you know, maybe you don't have your corporate directory integration with Skype, so that's not so great, but you still kind of get the same kind of application. Why don't we disconnect, and then Lana, I'll call you in the room. I'll call you back in a minute.
Yeah.
So now the real power in this application, as we said, is I'm a vendor of Cokes.
Yep.
And I want to have a big meeting,
Yep.
right? And it's going to be a big presentation, and you know, I'm going to make the bid to Coke to get the deal. But I'm at home for whatever reason, and so I still want to be able to have people see how excited I am, you know, with video. So I can have on here my room system. This is called the HD Cafe in Austin,
Yep.
which is now the same room that Lana's in, but Lana now is being viewed on a room system.
Wow.
And again, now you get the benefit of the camera and the system on the other side, right? So we're seeing her in 720p HD, and there's a number of neat things that we can do with this application. So one of the cool things is I can actually, for instance, move the camera in her room. So if I, you know, want to see something above her, I can actually move the camera and I can zoom and do a number of different manipulation capabilities here. So this is, you know, far end camera control.
Yeah.
I better zoom out and get back to Lana here. There's a number of kind of interesting things that we can do. There it goes. That we can do together, and we can share content with one another.
Okay.
So Lana's
when you say content, what do you mean?
anything.
Like
So-
PDFs or Word docs or
Things from the
photos?
laptop. So Lana, why don't you give Robert a couple examples?
Okay, I have an HD document camera, so let me share something that I just popped on the document camera with you.
Okay.
So this is an HD document camera. Just zoom out. Zoom back in for you.
So you
Yeah.
can tell the applications here around collaborative work groups, geographically dispersed work teams, being able to, collaborate on designs, things like that.
Now,
Be
is that
able
a
to do
Polycom
content.
camera that she's using, or is that
That's just a third-party
camera?
dock camera,
right.
and this goes back to the need for standards in interop, right? We don't have to provide every piece of the solution, and obviously, if you have accept standards, then you can use third-party and allow our customers to use third-party applications and capabilities.
Right. Now, Coca-Cola probably doesn't only have Polycom room systems. Can I call into other systems? And what do I have to ask?
Now, they should have all Polycom room
they should. But
but there is a very strong set of standards, right?
So what do I need to ask that CIO or the person I'm talking with to make sure my camera will work with it?
There's a set of vendors, and it really goes down to we could kind of define a whole bunch of standards, but it's actually much easier, and we find it much more compelling just to say, okay, these vendors, various products we have already tested and that we know interop, just like normal interop processes, and then they are assured that if they buy these products from these vendors that they'll interop. I think you're going to show one other thing. It might be kind of fun. So all kinds of content can be shared. Her laptop, or even input from I guess it's a DVD player, right?
An HD DVD player. Here we go.
And did she just switch that, or?
So there's an input to a DVD player on the room system, or in the room system in that room.
And she has a control panel that she can switch the video.
She just switches the video input. Well, think about this. We're connected here on an internet connection, right? This is not in.
We're Wi-Fi.
We're Wi-Fi to the internet. We're getting incredible quality for the two-way video, great quality for content sharing, even something like DVD sharing, and all this is done via a laptop, less than $100 webcam, and an internet connection.
Now, can you be recording this conversation to your local drive so you can watch it later?
We record it in a server.
Okay.
And that server then manages the content, and then it could be downloaded into your PC afterwards.
So I can't record it locally here on my laptop?
Not on our system. I mean, you could always use a recording piece of software to do that kind of a screen capture for local. The reason why you want it in the cloud, if you will, is so that you natively capture with high quality everybody who's connected into the conference, and then that gets stored locally in the cloud, and then that can be distributed later. Now, we have a number of customers who do not only the recording, but they also want to make sure that they can know who's listened to it afterwards. So they want some kind of control and security. So we have an application that sits on top of all the recordings with class of service limitations. I mean, this is really important for things like HIPAA and Sarbanes-Oxley. So they really are, they know who has seen the recording when, and there's a lot of control and security around this as well.
Very cool. Well, it's amazing. Half an hour's gone by.
I know, it's been a lot of fun.
And it was a little rough because of the equipment.
Bye, Lana. See ya.
But, thanks so much for coming out and showing this to me. It's really great.
It's been fun.
We'll talk, by the way, we're going to have you on chat right after the show on kite.tv. It's spelled kyte.tv/Scobalizer. And we'll have you over there doing a little chat and doing a little bit more video with Kite's video. So next week's guest is Rago Vegsna, evangelist at Zoho. And Zoho makes tons of Office 2.0 services like spreadsheets and word processing programs and all sorts of other stuff. So we'll talk about those and the trends he's seeing from the 1 million customers that Zoho has signed up, which is really remarkable. So thanks for watching. Now get back to work.